Tu noka herete pachasa borta. Krisocha wentense me punta. Lorcha wata yuma ni. Hodanga yuma des. Dak bota no chi tagwa ita.
Mashni manina mashna.
Jun sobe me rapa. No kuma randisa mak chiksa.
Marashni marapene menini.
Wamba siso misun.
Hara hine mash temana na hishnashne. Maniwak na hana hina ha. Naurene.
Wamba siso misun kun raka.
Mashni manina mashna wala huda kine. Marashni marapene menini shni bidini. Mashni manina mashna wala huda kine wakene.
More where that came from.
Graci ubaci compadwana musca na bosca wamba. Kavadumpa munsuru kuplali.
Malampas tarawando krimogawa. Jona yurturenga chiwi. Bane sokokran. Joka mata storch banlo. Jun sobe me rapa. No kuma randisa mak chiksa. Moga chinota harempe wanachi, drumpaba nakares magre. Da hupo boteño goju chopicha, gwem taba ni sochu. No takam tluchis miku mogo graba? Kechichul i Kavadumpe masuraku, popayi boteña, tache morota kamsa, javasko. Kavadumpe masuraku, popayi boteña, tache morota. Kavadumpe masuraku, popayi boteña. Sunaranga machochane, dota lutu. Padukre. Donina chiwa, kota wind, vorka no chawa. Kavadumpe masuraku, popayi boteña, tache morot. Kavadumpe masuraku, popayi boteña. Moga chinota harempe wanachi, drumpaba nakares magre. Kavadumpa. Da hupo boteño goju chopicha, gwem taba ni so. Kichu no kada mirenito. Kavadumpe masuraku, popayi boteña, tache morota ka. Kavadumpe masuraku, popayi boteña, tache morota.
Yes. Just say the word.
Heruhuta chinking mani. Watakra tungji mularayi. Dahupa bosa kurata go jujuto yoke. Kawana bota yuntatanga kinamatura. Tarak krono king bulotonga chopa chavwa genruta.
Dahupo boteño go yucho picha. Gwen taba ni sot kavadumpe masuraku popayi boteña.
What do you want? I've got nothing to tell you.
Got a minute?
I'm a little busy here. What is it?
Won't take more than a minute.
All right, I'll work while you talk.
Look, your friend, the Jedi, you know her from way back, don't you? How much do you know about her, really?
Her? You mean the general? Yeah, during the war. If that's what you mean by way back. Can't say I know too much about her, though.
Better than anyone else on this ship. Just give me your opinion, okay? And don't laugh.
I'm trying to work here, Atten.
I was just wondering if you thought maybe she and I might...
You're being serious.
You said you wouldn't laugh.
You are being serious. Atten, she was a general. I was just a tech. Your guess is about as good as mine.
Well, what's your guess then?
I'm getting back to work.
Hey, I'm being serious here. You're laughing at me? I'll put you on the scrap heap, you walking tin can.
Iridonian, if I might have a moment.
What is it, KOTOR?
I have spent some time in the presence of your remote, and the upgrades you have performed on him are quite adequate. I am impressed with your work, though less so with your remote itself.
What's wrong with my remote?
I find his use of resources, energy spent on frivolous things, to be an unsightly waste. But it is obvious you have some skill, however slight, in the upgrading of machines. I want you to provide me with similar upgrades.
I should be able to do something. I will see what I can do next time I have a free moment.
Yes. Yes, your features, your stance. Atris spoke of such Jedi who followed Revan, how their bodies came to mirror the dark side within them. Because there is a chance of redemption within all of us, and there is no point at which the dark side completely claims one, no matter what their choices. No, it is what I believe. Atris did not believe such things. You may ask. Very well. I think you are ready for the next tier of instruction. For this we will keep the etiquette of the last duel, but we shall add any melee weapon you choose to the ritual, with the exception of the Jedi weapon, the saber. Vibroblade, Bothan stun stick, force pike, whatever you wish. But no items, no force techniques. Then let us begin. And again, do not hold back. I will not. You fought well indeed. You have caught the principles of the style by watching and anticipating my movements. Yes? I fail to understand the I can see no fault. Will this do? Yes? I do not think you are ready for further instruction. Each movement of our arts demands some time to use the art in battle, or to examine how it may be best used in battle.
Oh, hey. I was gonna ask you that. It's just that your face, it's like you haven't been getting much sleep. What's wrong with you? I never saw a Jedi who had that look before. It's not natural. No, you're just business. Look, forget I said anything. Go ahead and ask. It's all this traveling, being trapped in the ship. Everything's just too quiet. I'd rather be doing something, somewhere with people, activity, some life. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been off planet. Guess I got used to it. Well, Nar Shaddaa may be one of the biggest cesspits in the galaxy, but it's got a life to it. Activity, aliens, people, refugees. It's like noise, but relaxing. Like the hum of a hyperdrive. Yeah, well, I wouldn't go that far. I'll believe it when I see it. Maybe one day, I'll let you. Alright, but I doubt you're gonna show me anything I don't already know. And when you show me, don't act like a tourist. It attracts predators. Go ahead and ask. Yeah, more or less. I wasn't born there, I just ended up there. Well, the war happened. The first one, against the Mandalorians. Had family right up until the end. It's not really a new story, you hear it all over the galaxy. It's what happens after the wars are over that you don't hear much about. I think so. After Revan crushed the Mandalorians, planets throughout the Republic were flooded with refugees. I was just one of the others. Me? I got passage to Nar Shaddaa. From there, not much you can do, so I became a bounty hunter. Take a guess, Jedi. Only 2 groups of people would have lost family at Malachor. And Jedi don't have families. As much as any slave becomes a Mandalorian. They took prisoners on every world they conquered to bolster their ranks. And they took a lot of worlds. I don't know, it didn't matter. I was too young to remember, really. Besides, Nar Shaddaa's kind of grown on me. It's as much my home as any place else. I'm good at finding people, so I used it to make credits. Not if you know your target. Usually you get a hollow or rough description, and then you just sort of listen to it, get a feel for him or her, and start walking. This is a little hard to explain, but Nar Shaddaa's got a flow, a life to it. You see all kinds of aliens and life there, and it's got currents. You know your target, you can feel them. Know where they're going to go. And sometimes, you know where they're going to be before they do. I'm good at finding people. Because when they're lost or out of place, it's like something's wrong inside them. And that's why I hunt. Get away from me. The next time you come and ask me a question, I swear I'll shoot you in the head and dump you out the airlock. What do you want now? Whatever, don't worry about it. It's just a sore subject with me. Yeah, well, they're dead. That's how that story ends. But not everybody's story has to end with losing their family or their loved ones. And not all the bounty hunting I do is for criminals or killers. There's a lot of lost people out there, scattered ever since the Mandalorian Wars. And sometimes, it's like you can almost hear them. Like an echo, calling out for each other. And maybe, just maybe by finding them, I can start putting the galaxy back together. That's what I had wondered. Maybe surviving was what was important. Maybe I would have been to someone different, someone weaker. Hanhar kept calling me prey. Maybe surviving isn't enough. You need to be strong, or you become one of those people who lose themselves. Maybe. We'll see. I don't even know why I'm telling you this. But you're not getting anything else out of me. Yeah, something wrong? Talk. About what? Sure, they're easy. That's why I dress like this. When they're looking down to check you out, you can usually smash them on the base of the skull or deliver an uppercut that knocks them flat. It's simple. When you want a man, you jab him with a Bothan stunner, then while he's screaming in pain, slap some stun cuffs on him. Then starve him for 2 or 3 days until he becomes open to suggestion, then double-check his bounty and see if he's worth anything. Call it what you want. Me? I love my targets. Yeah, something wrong? Go ahead and ask. Hanhar's only a bounty hunter because that's the closest word for what he does. He's not out for credits. It's more vicious than that, and it runs a lot deeper. It's like he's out to make the whole galaxy suffer. Every living thing in it. He wants to break them, ruin them, and when they can't suffer anymore, he wants them dead. I didn't kill him once. Biggest mistake ever. Do you really want to hear this? Well, Hanhar and me go way back, in the worst possible way. He's from some forest planet on the Outer Rim where Zerka had set up one of their slaving operations. Well, not for long. Once off planet, Hanhar escaped from the Zerka slavers, then killed them all. Well, before you get too proud of him, Hanhar figured Zerka had the right idea. I don't think he understood the concept of slavery before, at least on the scale that Zerka practiced it. But now he did. You ever hear of Dursan 3, or the ID cluster colonies? Right, that's because Hanhar happened. He makes what happened to his homeworld look like an exercise in community building. He's not a bounty hunter. He's a slaver. A predator. It's like he's out to enslave or kill every human in the galaxy, like he's trying to settle some huge score or debt. I don't get it, but he's dangerous. Anyone who paid credits. And sometimes, he just hunted humans for sport. The ones who survived, he sold to the exchange, to the huts, to anyone who'd buy bodies. Living or dead. He and Voga used to do big credit transactions. That hut really liked the look of unwrinkled humans for some reason. Didn't make him too popular with the other huts, let me tell you. I was prey. And not only did I escape, but I saved his life while doing it. He's been hunting me ever since. I don't pretend to understand it, but among his people, They have these codes of honor, but somewhere along the line, Hanhar's got twisted. His people form these things called life debts. If you save the life of one of them, they pledge themselves to you. Well, with Hanhar, he can't escape that life debt. It's bred into him. But he hates every other living thing in the galaxy, so pledging himself to someone else, especially a human, was unbearable. So when I saved his life, it was the worst thing I could do. It was like slavery all over again. But it was in his head. It was like it pushed him over the edge. A life debt to Hanhar is a death sentence. He'll hunt you until you're dead. When I saved his life, it meant he had to kill me. And so he kept chasing me in hopes I would die. I think the fact I showed him mercy after hating humans for so long, that was something he couldn't stand. Probably. But if he had multiple life debts, especially to humans, Hanhar would probably go mad. He was angry before, sure, but he'd be 10 times worse if that happened. Hanhar's tough. Really tough. And when he loses it, it's like nothing can stop him. I've seen him shrug off blaster bolts, Bothan stunners, and even survive a freighter crash on Dursan 3. He keeps coming. Oh, I'm glad he's gone. It's like a weight off my shoulders. I don't have to keep watching my back every minute, wondering when he's going to show up. And he always did. It's like he always knew where I was. Trust me, if he was still alive, he'd be chasing us even now, waiting to ambush us when we least expect it. And he always shows up at the worst possible time. He was one of the best bounty hunters on Nar Shaddaa. Hanhar never gives up on his prey. Or his life debts. He's a hunter. He's a natural predator. Well, as happens on Nar Shaddaa, I made someone mad. Mad enough for them to send Hanhar after me. Turns out they were even able to get him cheap. He'd heard about me and wanted to hunt me down, for sport. He didn't think I'd be much of a challenge. Well, he tried to box me down in vents beneath the Nar Shaddaa docks, and he'd set one too many proximity mines to cover the escape routes. I think he'd hoped to drive me into the mines and then let them do the work. Or that I'd be too scared to try and walk through them. Thing is, I knew Hanhar's supplier, and the trigger signatures for the mines. It was pretty easy to broadcast a signal to blind their sensor receptors for a minute or two. I figured that would buy me enough time to move through them and get away. Like I said, I disarmed the trigger fuses for enough of the mines to get by, temporarily. And Hanhar was pretty fast on my trail. I just made it to safety when he hit the first one. The blast leveled the entire ventilation section, and Hanhar was caught right in the middle, and he survived. Barely. He was crawling around, blinded from the flash and the plasma burns. And it happened so fast, and all the blood had been scabbed and crusted from the flash. I had the drop on him, and even blind, he knew it. He could still hear me. My ears were ringing from the blast, but I could hear him. I think he was begging me to let him live. His voice, it wasn't a roar, more like an echo of it. I suppose I should have killed him, but I couldn't do it. He was in pain, he was helpless. So I dragged him out of there enough to get him to safety, and he kept hunting me ever since. He said he'd pursue me to the edge of the galaxy. No matter where I ran, he would find me and break me, that I would always be prey. Maybe. I've thought about that moment. A lot. Wondered if I would do things differently if I had another chance. What's wrong? Why are you stopping? I've been by here hundreds of times. There's nothing special about it. No, I don't believe in the Force. It's Jedi tricks, sleight of hand.
Feel the currents here on Nar Shaddaa, the ebb of life. Where one creature feels pain, it lashes out. This is the Force. And all our choices, from the greatest to the smallest, affect each other, and the echoes travel.
I can feel this planet. I can't shut it out. It's louder now, it hurts. All these people. I've endured worse. I can deal with this. Can you train me to do what you do with the Force? I want to become like you. I want to be strong. I don't want to be afraid or alone anymore. I don't want to keep running and looking and never feel like I'm finding what I'm looking for. I'm tired of being hunted. I don't want to be lost anymore. When the galaxy or anyone takes something from me, I want the power to take it back and hurt them. I'm ready. I shall not fail you. I'm good to go.
If you've got some time, I'd like to see what I can upgrade for you.
Yes, I do have a few moments to spare for your work. I would like to know what he is doing here, though.
He helps me out with repairs. That isn't a problem, is it?
I suppose not. Perhaps in working on my circuitry, your assistant will learn something about how a fully functional droid is constructed.
Just ignore him and let's get to work.
I would appreciate that. Our group has little in the way of time to spare, and I would not want to delay you from your other duties.
Right. Let's get you open. See what you can do. I have to say, you are put together quite well. There wasn't much to do.
As I told you, my design is streamlined and efficient, though I am pleased that you were able to make some improvements, and this was not just a waste of my valuable time.
There were a few things from my remote that I was able to integrate into your construction.
I see. Well, thank you. I'll let you get back to your work.
I have to tell you, what you showed me on Nar Shaddaa has changed my view of things on the galaxy. For the first time, I feel in control. I feel powerful. It's strange, but it feels right somehow, like a piece inside me just clicked into place. Go ahead and ask.
I heard you making friends with the bounty hunter. I don't blame you. She's a scrapper. You don't survive on Nar Shaddaa for very long if you aren't. I've known people like her, maybe without the rocket launchers, but sort of the same. Maybe without the plunging neckline and the boots. I wouldn't let anything she says bother you. It's a wonder you cracked her attitude at all. She's cold as the ship's hull. All right, what did you want to know?
You have befriended the seer. Her species does not see as we do. They perceive the galaxy through the Force, and it is how she found you. It is a rare gift squandered on her people. Despite your urges, it would be better to deal with her now. Whether you intend salvation or slavery, she is a threat to us. She serves one of the greatest of the Sith. She is the most trusted and only apprentice. Yet you spare her. Why? We shall see. There may be value in such a choice to keep her alive, or perhaps not. Whatever your intentions toward her, keep them restrained. Whether mercy or lust, we have time for neither. Is that so? Well, perhaps there will be a second chance for her to inflict harm, so you may test such a statement. It is good that you have never wondered what lay beneath her robes, if her alabaster skin was as white and unblemished as her face, or if perhaps she bore the scars of slavery, and if that would stir you more, if perhaps her deferent tone would change once you held her by the throat and showed her how far a Jedi can fall. Few are the thoughts that can hide in the shadows of your mind, exile, and such passions are not strength but erosion. I cannot help but hear you at times, and such curious thoughts they are, not at all like a Jedi. See to it that you do not ever act upon your impulses. Mating with her will bring more harm than you know. Like the servant of Atris, this one has other masters. Though blind, she has ties to darkness. Her presence here is a threat to us, to you. Do not underestimate her, or her loyalty. Perhaps. I am not convinced. Because it was its time? Perhaps you should ask her. It begs many questions. Her people are not prone to violence, war, or hatred, yet their planet is obliterated, scoured from the face of the galaxy, and all that remains is a Sith. The Mandalorians were right to respect you on the field of battle. The Jedi are gone, vanished. Now, an entire planet of Force sensitives wiped clean of life. And now this slice of the galaxy is blind. It is no coincidence. The two events are tied. I fear you are right. And I fear it may prove more than that. War is a hunger. And there are spirits in the galaxy whose hunger is never satisfied. But there is little to be done about it now. Watch the seer carefully. She may reveal more. You are spending time with the servant of Atris. I knew her mother. She was a Jedi Knight, a master, named Aaron Kai. Jedi are forbidden to have children, and when the crime finally came to light almost a decade later, Kai was exiled. She joined the Mandalorian Wars after the shame of her birth was revealed. Revan welcomed her, and she was said to be a skilled warrior, beautiful and strong in the Force. The Force flows strongly in the blood of those born from Force sensitives. I doubt that Aaron was any different. If the servant of Atris is of her blood, then the potential lies within her. If you train her, if you teach her the ways of the Jedi, you will be asking her to break her oath to Atris. It would be best not to train her, and let the bloodline die with Telos. Ah, that was an interesting choice of words indeed. She has sworn not to follow the path of the Jedi by her oath, but even that oath is limited. One does not need to be Jedi to learn the ways of the Force. I suspect it cares little for our codes and philosophies. Once there were only Jedi. I wonder what evil was in such days. And to think once there were no Jedi at all. Perhaps the Force defies such rigid classification of its followers. But we were speaking of the servant of Atris. I would caution you to be careful of your interaction with her. She is not as tempered as you. You must train yourself first. The time will reveal itself. Yet if you persist as you have, building her trust, then you will be training her, whether you know it or not, until the choice is hers, not yours. Before you go, a word of caution. Spend time with her if you must, but recognize where your true loyalties lie, to the galaxy and yourself. Ah, so then perhaps I was mistaken in my judgment. Never have you wondered what it would mean in the Ichani rituals if the two of you sparred and fought, and you won, completely and utterly? If perhaps she would give in, surrender herself to you? Few are the thoughts that can hide in the shadows of your mind. Exile. And such passions are not strength, but erosion. I cannot help but hear you, but I shall keep such thoughts to myself, I think. And you should as well. You have grown strong in the Force. I can feel its mark upon you. Be warned, the highest of mysteries cannot be found by falling to the dark side. It is a quick path, and often a short one. But I sense a disquiet in you, an unrest. Such things will erode your strength. They sense the trappings of power and decision upon you. Their lives are static, trapped, and they see one who carries no such chains. Ah, then you have learnt nothing. From such small things, from such critical points, the universe and its masses may be moved. That is why you must be careful in all that you do, and in every choice you make. Aiding them gives you strength by taking on their challenges, but weakens them. If that is your choice, then use their dependency, feed upon it, until you have exhausted them. Then leave them. And I would view the ones you travel with much the same way. Ah, now you are learning. Do you know why those we meet display such weakness? As I said, their lives are static, untested. It is only through interaction, through decision and choice, through confrontation, physical or mental, that the force can grow within you. You have seen it. You have felt it within you as you have traveled with me. The growing anger, the rage, and the power it brings. Yet the power does not build without such struggle. Through small cruelties, greater ones are born. Yes? Have you come with questions? That is something we will leave until we possess a lightsaber.
Has there been any sign of the ship?
No, mistress, nor any word of our sister. We do not know where they travel now.
The freighter. It is important. And I thought the droid was as well, but I was wrong.
Mistress, we still do not know the significance of the ship or the droid. We downloaded all you asked, but we are still no closer to the answers you seek.
Then perhaps we'll need to have faith that your sister will change her mind, remember her oath, and return to us with the answers we seek.
I hope so, mistress. But there has been no word of her since she departed with the other 4 on the freighter.
4?
Yes, mistress. The Iridonian, the Ichani-trained pilot, the exile, and the old woman.
Old woman?
Yes, mistress.
I do not recall seeing her.
Mistress, she was secured for much of the time the exile was here. At other times you were meditating, and we did not wish to disturb you. Mistress, is there something wrong?
I am tired. I sometimes feel as if things are collapsing all around us. It is just at the edge of perceptions, waiting. I fear things will collapse before our enemies reveal themselves.
Yes, mistress.
I will meditate upon this. Perhaps it will clear my mind.
So you've returned. Really? That's great news. The situation here hasn't improved at all. What did you discover? Voga the Hutt? That's preposterous.
What makes you think we'd be willing to do that? A glut of fuel isn't going to help our position much in this case. It's a resource that's needed throughout the galaxy, and he'll be able to command a high price for it. Still, we don't have much of a choice. We need fuel, and we need it fast. I'll bring this up with the Telosian Council and urge them to broker a deal with Voga. Now, I believe I gave you my word that there would be a reward for information leading to the establishment of a fuel source for the station. Never believed for a moment that you'd actually be collecting it. But I'm a man of my word, so here you are. Now, I've got to send this information to the Council right away.
Pornace nisso pa maranga do risa vota. Ente skrem so chinor ta herem be chok wendido.
Another visitor? You must be here to join in the plunder of the old Jedi Enclave. You have to see Administrator Adari first. You're one of the salvagers, right? Your ship looks banged up enough to be part of that lot. But you look different. Then who are you? The only recent visitors we've had on Dantooine have been salvagers, and a slew of mercenaries.
Did you really used to live around here?
The Jedi Enclave on Dantooine was one of the major academies for young Padawans and apprentices. Many Jedi lived here once or twice.
Really? You seem pretty well armed for a farmer. But a lot of us joined the military during the Jedi Civil War. If this is your first time back, a lot has changed. You may want to go into Kunda and ask around about your family. There was a lot of movement when the Sith invaded. Hopefully everybody you knew is safe. Just head into the building and you'll find your way to the administrator. I'll be over by the entrance if you need anything else.
I hear you.
Greetings, and good day, traveler. On behalf of the Kunda settlement, I am programmed to welcome you to Dantooine. Is there something I can do to serve you? I am conducting my appointed rounds. May I be of any further service to you? The main area of interest for visitors is the Kunda outpost. There you will find the local officials who preside over the Dantooine colony. Administrator Terena Adare and militia leader Zeron. Zeron strongly urges salvagers to avoid the highly dangerous sublevel of the Enclave ruins. Due to reduced militia manpower, several dangerous beasts overpopulate the more rural areas of Dantooine. For more information, speak with Zeron in the Kunda outpost. May I be of any further service to you? If you will excuse me, I must continue my appointed rounds.
Yes?